Welcome back, it's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a one-page layout using primarily the Camp Happy Bear collection. This base page though is an old Kaiser craft collection, but I liked how it had a little bit of mixed media up in the corners, and that one corner has the red, and I wanted to kind of incorporate some red in the layout because there are some red embellishments. This layout has a 4x6 photo and then two 2x3 photos, and I am going to place them on a diagonal. I decided to add two pattern papers, more subtle, I guess, on the pattern side, and use those as strips across the page to kind of be a good base for my 2x3 photos. I found this cut apart sheet and decided to use some of those. There's one, I believe it must be 2x2, and it just lines up perfectly with my 2x3 photos. So I wanted to add that kind of at the bottom. These are photos, obviously s'mores photos. We kind of piggyback off my parents camping. They camp, but they usually camp fairly close to us. So we will usually go up for day trips. And so that's what this was. This was actually in June. And so we went up for a day trip and had some yummy s'mores, and I knew I wanted to document that. So with the 2x2, none of the other cut aparts were that size. And so I kind of had to figure out what to do because I wanted to incorporate one at the top as well. So instead, I found this 3x4. And I just trimmed it down to that 2x2 size. I believe it's 2x2 at least. Maybe it's 3x3. I don't know. It's got to be 2x2. So I trimmed that down, and I'm going to add that to the top, and that will bring some of that blue, that's the background up there, from the bottom up to the top. So once I have that, I am going to dovetail each of these strips of paper, and they're going to go opposite ways. So the bottom, the dovetail will be on the left, and the top, the dovetail will be on the right. The initial sketch I had for this layout was actually, still had the photos diagonal, but I wanted to cut a piece of paper kind of at a diagonal as well and have all of the photos on that one piece of paper. I just didn't love that idea when I sat down to actually scrapbook it. So it's I think my second layout this month where I have just kind of changed my initial vision into something else, and I do actually really like the outcomes of both of them. One of them was a summer collection, a summer layout that I just did, and that was just posted. So you know, I sketch and I try to prepare as much as I can, but when it comes down to it, I don't always follow my sketches to a T, and that's okay. I think that's kind of can be the fun of it, where, you know, you kind of just get to change things up a little bit and not have to follow along exactly with a sketch. Or if you scrap lift somebody, you know, you can get ideas from somebody and not actually copy them completely. I know a lot of times I'll go through Instagram and get a kind of a general idea, and it just inspires me then to create my own layouts. So I am now kind of just getting my photos and the cut aparts in place. I did then decide, I remembered I had some s'mores shaker pieces. So I did decide to make a shaker pocket using the tags I got from Michael's. I got these quite a while ago, but I did go, I believe in May, at the end of May, and they did still have these tags. And what's nice about these, they have the base, the top, and the acetate all together. So really you just have to put it you know, tape them together, add your shaker, and it's all done for you. So that's really nice. The s'mores shaker bits are from Creek Bank Creations. I got those in 2023 at the Stampin' Scrapbook Expo, but I do know that that company was at the Great Lakes Mega Meet as well, and that's where I got the watermelon shaker bits that I have used over the last month or so. So with these, I just tape the acetate down, and then I am going to make a border with my thin foam tape that I get on Amazon. And then I will add in the shaker bits. I did go a little heavy on these. I have about one more, enough for like one more shaker. I wanted to make sure I kind of had enough for one instead of kind of using too many for this one. And I don't think I used too many or there's too few left. So out of that container, I did get, or will have gotten, 3 shaker pockets out of it. So I am going to add navy twine to the tag. A lot of times if it's like a paper tag, sometimes I'll add like a enamel dot to it instead of twine, but I had navy and it matched, and this is a little bit thicker, so I knew I wanted to kind of use that. I do have a small pack of flares from Scrap and Happy Studio, and one of them says Happy Camper, so I thought maybe I would try and use that. So I am going to kind of embellish on the tag or around the tag with that phrase sticker and then the flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. That is the nice thing about these larger tags. You can definitely embellish on top, and you're not covering up anything, you're not covering up too much. So it's nice to have like those big, I guess, shaker pockets. At the top, I kind of struggled. I have so many outdoor collections, as you can see, that I needed to figure out what to, or how to embellish that top. I knew I wanted, you know, something on the bottom left and the top right. I had this sun cut out from a different layout. Didn't really love that. I really kind of wanted to include a tent, and there were a couple different tents on 2 different sticker sheets, but neither one of them were large enough for what I kind of had visioned. So instead, I actually went into my Close to My Heart Stampin' Dies and found a large tent Stampin' Die. And so I am actually going to end up using that for the top. And I think that's the first time I've actually gotten into my Close to My Heart Stampin' Dies since I got out of Close to My Heart. I used to use them a lot more when I had the collections kind of to go with it. But now, I don't know. I think I just prefer ephemera and stickers. I like to be a quick scrapbooker, I guess. So to take the time all the time to do stamps and dies, it's just not kind of what I enjoy the most, I guess. But I will say it came in clutch for this layout because that tent is large and really the size that I kind of had visioned for that top right of the layout. I then have a fire as well, and I decided to use that. And I am actually going to use, for the first time, I believe, I think my son has used them, but I am going to use my colored pencils that I got from Close to My Heart. Again, I think my son used them, but I have not used them yet, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of nice to color in and custom, I guess, color my fire there. So once that's done, I am going to kind of place them back on my layout. You can see I did kind of the ombre with the red at the bottom, then the orange, and then the yellow on that fire. But I'm going to place them on the layout. I do kind of wish I would have done the tent a little bit different, or maybe colored that in, even done like paprika on paprika, or used a paprika, that's the ink that I use, but used the paprika paper instead. But at that time, I don't know. maybe I thought the inside would have been the stamped image and not just the outline of it. But it is what it is. I did end up popping up the fire on some foam tape, and then I'm going to kind of play around and add some things to each of the clusters. I just thought that little cup was really cute. It has nothing to do with s'mores, but I liked it, and so I added it to the top. Just kind of helped elongate that cluster as well. So kind of added some to the bottom. I didn't love that big white open space of the camper there, and so it was a perfect place to add an embellishment cluster. That sign says Camp Rules, and I just thought that was super cute, so that helps cover up the white space. And then I added that lantern. But then because I added something up there, I thought maybe I should add something to the bottom right of that photo as well. And just simple clusters, nothing too large, nothing too complex, but I did want to kind of add to it. So because both of those clusters only have 2 elements, I did decide to go into my enamel dot stash and kind of add enamel dots to really all of the clusters, just to kind of finish off the clusters here. It did take me a while. I think it's like a Simple Stories enamel dot pack, and the colors were good. The yellow was too bright, and so I had kind of the blue, the green, or I guess I did use the yellow, and kind of like that, it's almost like a coral red almost. So with the sizes that I had left, it took me a while to kind of finish off each of the clusters of 3, just so like I was changing the colors, changing the sizes of each of the clusters. And so that did take me a little bit just to get it how I really wanted it. You can see it again, adding the red to the top, and then medium yellow and some smaller ones as well. So that is going to finish off this layout. Unfortunately, I don't believe the Camp Happy Bear is available anymore. I will look and see if it is. If it is, I will link it down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.